guys, and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley, and welcome to Watercolor Blooms. This is a series on the channel where we paint watercolor florals every single week. We keep them quick, simple, and beginner friendly. And today we're doing June's birth month flower, the second one, Honeysuckle. Very intimidated by this flower. Was a little bit scared to do it, but we did it anyways. And I painted this entire thing and realized I never turned the microphone on, so I'm gonna have to voice over the actual painting footage, but that's okay. Mistakes happen, we are human. So let's go ahead, turn the camera around, and start painting some watercolor florals. All right, so hopefully you cannot hear my dryer in the background, but we're gonna get started with honeysuckles today. Today, I decided to bring out the Schmincke paints. I like to rotate through my paints in this series, so we paint with all different kinds, and I was very excited to bring these out. Today, I am starting with this brush. It's from Tintoretto, and it's very, very long and floppy. I decided I wanted to give it a try and end up switching out later, but we're going to start with some Naples yellow. Just getting a little bit of color on the palette, and yeah, this brush is super long and floppy. I think it's a dagger. It is great for splattering. I had already accidentally splattered some, so I went ahead and splattered paint all over it. But I grabbed some cad yellow on the palette as well, and decided to pick out a green for the leaves, and I went with permanent green olive from Schmincke. So those are the three colors that I end up using. I do have a tiny bit of brown later, but the honeysuckle was a very intimidating flower for me. It was kind of scary. I don't know why, but it's in the pictures. I wanted to see one in person because in the pictures it was really hard to tell where petals were going, but I did identify that it has a cone shape, a very thin cone shape, and then petals that just kind of come out and droop down, and then the little stamen coming out of it. So here I am. I'm struggling with this brush, and I do change it in a minute because it was a little bit too long and floppy for what I was using it for. But yeah, I'm just going back and forth between the Naples and the cad yellow and just making some droopy petals. And then a few little thin lines coming up and out that will help identify that this is a honeysuckle. And I couldn't remember what color on the ends of it, so I had to look at the picture again. But I just got a light brown to do just little bitty spots on the end, and the brush was working against me. It was just too floppy for that. So I pulled out the Princeton Aqua Elite Long Round. I love the long round from the Aqua Elite line. Having trouble talking, very sorry. But I refined the shape a little bit on some of these because the other brush was just a little bit too loose for this. And I wanted to go ahead and touch in a little bit of green at the base of that just so it would blend into the yellow, and we'll connect that later. So I kept looking back and forth with different pictures of the honeysuckles because there's several different like color variations and some of them just look a little bit different. And I was trying to decide where they were all going to be placed. And so I decided to stick one here. And again, starting with the base of that flower, that cone, very, very long skinny cone, and then just pulling petals up and then drooping some away as well. Trying to get a few different perspectives of the flower. So this one's tilted to the left a little bit. And make sure to leave some space in between them for those little stamen to come out so that you can identify those. The second one I think went a little bit better than the first one. Again, a little bit of brown just for the ends of these. And it looks like a honeysuckle. It's not that bad, right? All right, touching a little bit of the green. And then I think here is where, I don't know, I do a couple of different brush dances where you're trying to figure out where is going to go next. But in one of the pictures I saw that there was two honeysuckles coming out of the same little spot. So I decided to stick another one right in this one as well and have them kind of clustered together. My hands, that's funny, just open flower. And again, having those little lines for the stamen. Watching it now, as opposed to when I was actually painting it, I actually see the flowers more now than when I was painting them. It's always interesting to see what you see in the moment versus later. Sorry, my head kept getting in the way. I put a different lens on the camera and the camera was higher, so my head kept getting up in there. Sorry. I'm trying to plan out where I want another one. I wanted to do at least one more, and I felt like it needed to be drooping downwards this way. So we're going to fill in some of that other space kind of at the top and area with some leaves. I want this to be fairly leaf heavy, because the leaves are really beautiful, broad, shiny leaves. But again, we have a cone. This one's going kind of down and left, and just touch that green at the base of it. A little bit of cad yellow, kind of mixing the yellows a little bit. I don't know why I was so intimidated by honeysuckles. They're actually, to paint in a loose style, they're actually kind of cute. All right, time for some leaves, some big, juicy, fat leaves. And I start up here at the top. I really wanted something coming in that space. And when it comes to placing leaves, I'm always doing, right now, the brush dance, trying to decide where it needs to go. And again, I'm very sorry about my head. This green from Shmika is so beautiful. Yep, move your head, Ashley. Come on, out of the way. Pulling a leaf down now, and I think my head was blocking for that entire thing, so I had to cut that. But just place these big broad leaves throughout it, trying to go back and forth and do a little bit of balance. I did find a little bit of a struggle between how dark the leaves were and how light the flowers were. I didn't want to do too many leaves where it took over and you couldn't even see the flowers, but I did want you to have plenty of leaves in there. So I did a little bit lighter of one kind of in the middle. I wanted it to be really full through there. And I'm doing some more brush dances. I just trying to make those decisions. But I did need one coming out this direction, so. Adding little bitty lines so you can see that they aren't just floating there. And then I decided I wanted one coming out this way, but I wanted it to be very faint. So watered down that paint, and I wanted a couple of leaves that were lighter. So that it was filling up space, but it wasn't too heavy and just pulled everything down and took too much attention. So trying to decide where the other light leaf needs to go. Couldn't make up my mind. Ended up putting it up here. Watered it down some. This brush really is nice. I need to use it more often. I need to get more of them, actually. I want some different sizes. But I decided here this is kind of where I wanted to leave it. It was kind of crazy and chaotic, but I added a few extra details in the, what are they called? Flowers. I went in with the Naples yellow, just a little bit darker. But yeah, I liked this one. It was fun, and I did do little lines in the middle of the leaves as well, because those leaves were pretty defined. But this one was actually really quick. It wasn't as hard as I anticipated it being, and it was actually, it looks cute and fun. So that is it for Watercolor Blooms this week. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm hoping I can continue posting these every Monday. They have been late. They haven't been at my 10 a.m. posting time, but I'm getting there. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye! This is a series, I don't know what that was. Hope that matched up.